Hey, what's up, uh, everyone? So, I have a question. Um, have you ever gone through something really hard? And I can definitely say that I have. Um, Earlier this year in 2024, well, yeah, this year, 2024, um, in the beginning, I was I was depressed beyond belief. I was going through a very, very, very hard time. The hands down, um, the most pain I've ever been in my life. And in that time, I couldn't eat. Um, and I love to eat. Anyone who knows me knows that I can definitely eat a lot, and I like it. But in that time, I was hardly eating. I would have like half a sandwich or a sandwich like in a day. Um, and it wasn't like I didn't want to eat, I just couldn't. I didn't want to, but I also, like, if I tried, I would just be full and I just wouldn't want to eat anymore. I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't sleep. Only had about 2, 3, 4 hours to sleep per night. And I'll wake up with, you know, the problem I was going through would just be on my mind. I couldn't fall asleep because it was on my mind. I would be like in bed trying to sleep because I would have work the next day, but I'll be in bed like for hours, like just trying to go to sleep. And then I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up way before my alarm clock. And then I wouldn't even be tired. I'll just be fully awake with 3 hours of sleep, and I'll go to work. Um, During that time, I felt just like a emptiness inside of me, like a very empty, but not no feelings, plenty of feelings, but pain. It was an empty, painful pain, and I was sad and hurt, and I couldn't stop thinking about the problem that I was going through, like what was going on. It was on my mind all day, every day. I'll wake up out of my sleep thinking about it, sometimes dream about it. Like I said, couldn't eat, very, very depressed, and the pain was excruciating, and there was no on-off switch. I just had to live inside of it. I had to deal with what I was going through. And yeah, in that time, I felt no escape. I felt like, you know, I talked to some people. I usually never talk to people about my problems. But I was hurting so bad that, like, you know, I had to reach out, you know. So I did. I talked to some people. I ended up talking to like two of my bosses at work, and also friends and my mom. And it helped, but even then I was still very stuck in my pain, very stuck in all that hurt, and it felt like nothing could get me out. And yeah. And I went to Florida in that time, in January, the end of January. I went to Florida, and Florida, that was my first time on a plane, first time in Florida. Beautiful weather. I was in the cold and I got to go to nice warm weather, and I was sad. But I remember waking up one day in the morning, and I just, as soon as I woke up, you know, I'm in Florida, I'm in an Airbnb, everything is so beautiful, but I felt empty beyond belief. I felt just like, I can't even put it into words. I feel like I'm not doing enough justice, but I was hurt. And in 2023, I was going through a journey of changing and getting closer to God, and things were pretty nice. But then as soon as 2024 hits, everything goes downhill. At least, that's how I felt. But I remember one day, this in January, maybe beginning of February, fully depressed. I think it was one of the days I had to go through a very hard process, I had to do something, and it was part of the reason why I was so sad. But I was at work, then I left, driving in my car, driving here to this rooftop, just to kind of like chill and think. Seek God. That's what I do. I try to seek Him when I'm hurting. But I'm so focused on my problem. I'm so focused on what I'm going through. And it's just, it feels awful. It felt awful. But then I'm not exactly sure what got me to think this way. I mean, I'll say it. I was hurting and I was praying. I was talking to God in my car, driving to go, seek Him, chill, think. And I think I'm praying about my issue, talking to Him about my problems. But then I started to pray. No, I started to thank Him. I started to thank Him because I realized things are not going my way. I'm in the most pain I've ever been in my life. My body feels healthy, I feel good, but I'm so sad, and I just don't know what's going on. But I began to thank Him for things in my life, the things that He's done for me. And I realized, even though something wasn't going my way and I was confused and felt terrible, felt guilty, felt wrong, during 2023 and up until that point, I've grown as a person and I've changed. And it wasn't because, it was because of God. During that time, I had to lean on God, and during the time in the car, I had to lean on Him even more, just realizing what He's done for me. And I started to cry, like bitterly, started to cry a lot. And I was thanking him, and I realized that I was going through problems before, and I became a better person. And it was something that I didn't do on my own. It was something that I tried to do with most of it in my own hands. And when I just gave it to him, when I let him help me more, a lot of my problems went away. I started to overcome. And in the beginning of 2024, I was very depressed. Something didn't go my way. But then I remembered how God has changed me, how he helped me to become a better and different person. I forgot about that. I was so focused on the pain, I forgot about what God has done for me, the small and the big, and how he helped me to overcome internal problems I was dealing with that I wasn't able to overcome by myself until I, started to lean on him and not myself. And when I came to the rooftop to seek God, he answered, which sounds crazy. Not everyone's gonna buy that, but he answered. And he gave me hope. He showed me a bright future. He gave me a reason to keep going. And he made me realize that, like never before, I'm gonna have to lean on him again and more. I'm gonna have to take a step of faith of doing what he says more, doing it his way more, and starting to let go of the control, because I was, it was a process of letting go of my control, of trying to work on everything myself, and being able to trust that he can, that he's a real help in great trouble. And as I did that, I think later that night, but I know I started to worship God more and more sincerely in my room. And like, again, in this time, 2024, I'm going through pain beyond belief. Something I've never experienced. I mean, like, I fall asleep pretty easily, and it took me hours to fall asleep each night. And I'll wake up with only 3 hours of sleep, and I'll have to go to work. Wasn't hungry, wasn't tired. I was just focused on the pain, focused on what I was dealing with. But somehow, more and more, as I got in my room by myself, and as I worshiped God and just told him, I can't take control. I've tried, I messed up, so I give it all to you. You can have it all, and I'll just follow. Somehow the pain started to go away. And I'm trying not to cry. Oh my gosh. I'm a pretty analytical, I'm not even sad. Like, I'm happy. It's crazy. I'm a pretty analytical thinker. But I'm not going to take the time to break all that down. I just know that nothing else was really working. But as I worshipped and gave it to him, the pain started to go. And it became more manageable. Not that everything felt great. I was still hurting, but things became more manageable. I found more peace, and I had hope. Before, I didn't even know what to look forward to. I'm like, what now? But as I realized that the number one reason I went through the journey I went through of changing, the number one reason I have anything to be thankful for is because of God. So once I want to change locations.